Welcome into the Junior C and Nothing But Sports podcast. I'm back at it with the Week 3 college football reactions. We're a month into the college football season, and I think for the most part we kind of have a read at this point as far as who's going to be doing what this season. And like I said, I'm gonna try to be as judicial, as quick as possible. Because I want to, I want to be as quick. I don't want to take too long because there's just too many games to get to. So I'm going to get to the most important things that happened today or this weekend. Arizona gets really ran over by Kansas State. Kansas State looks for real. The worst we've seen them do is struggle at Tulane, who looks like a really good Group of 5 team. But at the end of the day, they played a good game. Offensively, they look really good with Avery Johnson. Defensively, they look really well. They have more tests to come later in the season, of course, but this was a great step and a great win. As far as Arizona goes, I'm not too sure what their future holds, at least for this season. Fofita, they just didn't look, other than him to McMillan, they just didn't really look that explosive. They didn't look in sync. They didn't look to be cohesive at all. So hopefully that will change, but it didn't from based on what I was watching. So I'd like to see them do better, and maybe they will down the road. But that was a win you needed to have, and you couldn't get it. So. But like I said, we'll see over time how they react to the games. Honestly, I want to see how they play, and if their defense can step up, and if they can get more offensive cohesion the rest of the season. Their season's not over, but they didn't look well against Northern Arizona. And again, they didn't look good in this game. So I think that hype train that was given by a lot of people, I think is going to be going downhill if they don't start to pull it together, because the Big 12 is wide open, and it seems to be a lot of good football teams that are going to be in the Big 12 this season. So I suspect we're going to get a lot better play from the Wildcats, but they can't get hot like they got last year because there's just too many good teams that I believe are going to have upward mobility and momentum. So bad look right now for Arizona. They're unranked. Kansas State, again, they're going to keep on trucking, and they're going to have some big games coming up. But great win for Kansas State, and a game that nobody was really paying attention to. I won't say not paying attention to, but Arizona State, Texas State, we talked about that. In Arizona State, again, the Big 12, much like how the Pac-12 was last year, going to be slowly one of the most exciting conferences to watch on a weekly basis. So I'm excited and looking forward to seeing what Arizona State can do. I thought Levitt, the freshman, looked very good late. He made the plays necessary that run into the end zone before the end of the half. That really helped. His decision-making was great. And then, of course, they get 2 turnovers late in the fourth to really kind of put that game away. So I'm really happy that they were able to get that win on the road against a really tough Group of 5 team in Texas State. I expect Texas State to be fighting for a Sun Belt championship at the end of the season. And I think that it will help if they play them close, and they figure out how to get more wins down the line against really good Sun Belt opponents. But no, Arizona State, great win. They now have to see if they can get close in this Big 12 enough to make it to the end. And I think with this offense and Levitt making smarter decisions, getting better as the season rolls on as a freshman, and their young coach getting, just making better decisions time-wise and clock-wise, they should be all right. They got to fix a couple things on their defense on the back end, but other than that, they clamped down and they made the plays necessary to win. So, you have to give them credit for holding on to win that football game. And then you saw Kansas go down. These are all weekday games that happen, but you kind of saw Kansas go down. UNLV, what a great win. A lot of people jumping on UNLV right now for the college football playoff, as they should, because they look like a really different football team. They look even different than they did last year. They're not ranked yet, but I suspect that will change. I suspect they will be ranked with a couple more wins. I believe they got Boise State and others on their schedule, so they're going to get more opportunities. But man, what a great start! You go to Houston and beat them, and then you come back and beat them. So they've got 2 wins against Big 12 opponents so far, and they look great. So just hoping that it stays that way and they find a way to get more victories, especially in the non-conference, because that's going to help them get that ranked designation. Because once the college football playoff rankings start, that's when we're going to start to see the more tougher rankings and find out, hey, who are you playing and how are you doing in those scenarios. So once they get into Mountain West play, they've got to put the hammer down and don't lose focus, don't lose sight of the task and the goal, because they have a fun offense, but it was really their defense that stepped up in the second half and made plays. They've proved that they can be explosive, but then they've also proven they can play a tough Big 12 team that has explosive players and make enough plays to win the football game. So I am really looking forward to watching more UNLV in action. It's been a long time coming for this program, and I'm just really looking forward to it. So I'm just hoping that they come to play. So we shall see. As far as the Saturday games, I think it's Alabama. I warned everybody Alabama was going to roll over Wisconsin. They just don't have the horses. They don't have enough talent to match. I thought early on they might have, but Van Dyke goes down with that injury, and then Malusi fumbles the football after a great run with a really good chance to score before the end of the half. They fumble, give that away, and now you lose all momentum, and you let Alabama really just sort of take control of the game. So I thought, like I said, they had opportunities, but they quickly fumbled those away, no pun intended, and they paid for it, and Alabama made them pay for it. And when you're facing a team like this, you cannot turn the football over, and they gave them a spark, and that was the end. So, I seen that coming a mile away. No surprise there. Alabama takes care of business. I still think that USF performance is troubling, but it won't be troubling until they get to Georgia at home. We're really going to find out where this team stands. Speaking of Georgia, like I said, that Georgia-Alabama game is going to be likely a college game day game. It looks like that's going to be the game to determine which of these teams is going to be kind of on the back burner, because I think the loser of this game is going to be in trouble. Georgia didn't look great against Kentucky. Offensively, they looked terrible. They made the plays when they need to be made, so you have to give them credit. But Kentucky fumbled this game away, much like Wisconsin in the first half. They just fumbled it at the end. Mark Stoops, I like Mark Stoops. I think he's been a great coach for this program. But if you want to become one of those, if you want to do what Kirby Smart has done at Georgia, and you have a great defense, you have got to go for it and try to put this game away with a late game. Why would you punt it away and hope that they're going to stop you, or you stop them? They didn't stop. You didn't stop them, but you stopped them with no time on the clock to actually do anything. So go for it. Even if you don't get it, you still can stop them, and you have an opportunity to get it. So I just thought that you create 2 possible possessions instead of 1. And to punt that ball away, you had no faith in your offense to go out there and create something. Who knows? You get a penalty or something to help you out. They didn't even attempt it. They said, no, we're just going to punt it away. I thought that was a cowardly move by Mark Stoops. I'm really disappointed, because you can't beat Georgia, Alabama, Ohio State, LSU. You can't beat these teams by doing stuff like that. You're just playing not to lose. you're playing safe at that point. And you can't do that against these type of teams. You got to go for the throat, challenge them up front, and say we're gonna drop a play to try to get this first down. And they decided not to, and it cost them the game quite frankly. So you know, maybe he'll learn from this, maybe he won't, but he's gonna have to live with that decision. You know, at the end of the day, it was his decision. When you play scared and you play not to lose with the lead, that's what's gonna happen. So, you know, Kentucky, it's going to be a long season for them. Because I bashed them. That's why I didn't even talk much about this game last when I made my pick. Because I thought they were going to get stomped after what South Carolina came in there and did to them. And to their credit, and I have said this before, whenever Georgia goes there, for the most part, they struggle. At least the last 3 times, or 3 out of the last 4 times they've gone there, they have struggled to put on that defense. So I didn't see that coming, but again, they had a valiant performance, and the coach decided not to go for it and put his chips on the table. And I don't want to hear Stanford Steve talking about analytics and all that. We don't want to hear about that. About analytics, go for it, or punt it. What are you talking about? The game's on the line. Literally, the game was on the line there, and you decide, kind of like what Sean Payton did in that Broncos game. Punted the ball away and really gave your offense no time left to do anything. Like, I don't understand what these coaches are thinking about sometimes when they decide to do these things. Do you want your team to win or not? It just feels like you want to take your ball and go home and say, all right, we'll try again next week. You don't have time for that. So nasty work, Sean Payton and Mark Stoops, my 2 nasty work guys of the day. You didn't give your team a chance. And that's really sad. But Georgia escapes victory. But again, Georgia, Alabama, they both had some really weird performances. But I've also seen them dominate some good teams. So I expect that game to be a slugfest, much like this Kentucky game. And again, will Alabama make those same mistakes, or will Georgia find a way again to overcome their mediocre performance? We'll find out. But that's why Texas is number 1 in the AP poll that just dropped yesterday, is because Texas just, I mean, other than the beatdown they put on Michigan, they're just taking care of business. So they've earned the right to be number 1. Georgia still looks to be very good, but one has to wonder, once they face more dynamic defenses, are they going to be the same Georgia that we've seen, or will they continue to struggle? And I think that's a key question to ask, so we will see. LSU, this is likely going to be the last game I talk about. We had some other good games there, a lot of blowouts as well, rivalry games, Apple Cup, Civil War, all these type of games. The Apple Cup was actually pretty good. Washington State really showed something. Oregon State did not. The only 2 teams in the Pac-12 or Pac-2 right now. One showed up, one didn't. Purdue got ran over by Notre Dame. I completely missed the boat on that. You know, a lot of teams, Tennessee and others, took care of business. They did what they're supposed to do. Memphis getting a huge win at Florida State. I picked Memphis to win. Florida State is done. Their season is over. It's time to pack up and, you know, just hope that you can not get a bunch of guys to transfer back to or over to different teams or whatever the case, because it is horrific in Tallahassee right now, and the hits just keep coming. They got a bunch of other teams coming in there that aren't going to play with them, so they're going to be in trouble. So I don't even know what else to say. I think Mike Cobell's he's going to be on the hot seat at the end of the season. You had one good year where y'all should have gotten in and you didn't. And you got more transfers in, and it looks worse. So he's definitely on the hot seat by the end of the season. Colorado, another rivalry game, dominated Colorado State. Colorado State came in talking a lot. I really am disappointed in them. They're probably the most disappointing team of the weekend. I thought they talked a lot of mess, and they couldn't back it up. And I'm really surprised that Colorado came out there and not only did they put their foot on their neck, but they kept it on their neck the entire game. And that was probably the best performance in the last 2 years that I've seen, offensively and defensively, from the Colorado. So Dion, Warren Sapp, and those guys, T.O., get these guys prepared. And they are 2-1, by the way. So, I mean, they have some games where if they can just string together some wins, they're not out of this thing yet. Nebraska looks like a very good football team, and they got a big game on Friday. But, again, they look like a very poised and good football team, so no hate there. But, yeah, people don't remember the second half of that Nebraska game, that defense held Nebraska to nothing. They had no points. Their offense just couldn't do anything with that Nebraska defense. So I expect Colorado to get better, learn from that loss against Nebraska, pull this Colorado State tape and add that fuel to the fire of what you guys just did, winning a rivalry game for the second year in a row. So I was very proud of Coach Prime and very proud of that staff and the players for stepping up and backing up what they do and what they say. And they did. So you can't really say nothing. You know, I don't want to hear anybody talking about it's Colorado State and all this stuff. Because if they would have lost, y'all would have been digging their grave even further. So give them credit for winning another rivalry game. And after all the talk Colorado State had, they went there and punched them in the mouth in their own house. So congratulations to Colorado State. Last game I'm going to talk about is the LSU South Carolina game. Game day was there. I didn't see that coming. You had Boston College and Missouri going on sort of simultaneously. And it looked like Boston College was going to win that game for a very long time, and then Missouri kind of clamped down on defense and took care of business, but that was a great game as well. Good job for Missouri. They have bigger tests ahead, but that was a great ranked win for Missouri. This game, I really wanted to just do an entire separate podcast on this game because I never wanted a game to be over more than that game. It lasted almost 4 hours plus. I was really happy he missed that kick, not just because I wanted him to win, but also because I didn't want to see this game go on any longer than it has to. I wanted us to either win in regulation or lose. Listen, man, we found a way to win this football game. It's as simple as that. There's a lot of people who talk, the interception that was called back, or this or that, the officiating. I really think that we have to stop. The officiating in both the NFL and college has been bad. It's been awful so far. It's probably the worst coaching officiating that I've seen in the history of NFL/college football. So far, it's been bad. But I thought they were just, it took too long. Yeah, they made some bad calls, but that was on both squads, I felt. There were some bad calls on both sides. And again, I can't stress this enough. If you want to beat a team like LSU, especially at home, you can't turn the ball over and you can't make penalties and mistakes. And that's what they did. Now, my team kept trying to give South Carolina the game. That's why I don't know why they're complaining. We kept trying to give them the game. We almost said, here you go, you can have this game multiple times. But we decided, hey, you know, we're not gonna have it. So yeah, so I thought we didn't deserve to win this game. We didn't. So I'm happy that we won, but man, Brian Kelly has got to get these guys in order. That defense looks really bad still. We got turnovers, you know, Harold Perkins, we saw him flying around a little bit more, but that defense looks horrible still. And Blake Baker, I actually put this more on you than Brian Kelly. We gave you all this money to come over here and fix this defense, and you have not done so yet. So the clock is ticking on you, buddy. At the end of the year, the clock will be ticking. And any head coaching job you might want, it might be put on hold right now because this has been a terrible performance so far. So you better adjust and figure out what this team can do well on defense and attack because it hasn't been good. But no, I was overall happy that we got the win because we could have easily lost that game. We probably should have lost that game. But this is a game that can springboard this team into saying, listen, we probably played our worst game of the year, and we still put up 30 plus. Our offense got it going eventually, and we made plays on defense when we needed to. But man, the penalties, the procedural penalties, They really are killing us. So we're going to have to find a way to fix that. In our offensive line, I mean, our running game I thought was really good. I think we found a new running back. The young man, I forget his name, but Caden, something, I forget his last name, but Caden Durham, I think is his name. I think he might be the new number one guy. You still got Williams back there. He's experienced. He's a veteran. He knows what to do in certain situations. So you can still plug him in. You can still plug Caleb Jackson, who can run you over, a more tough physical back. So I think the offense has some new layers to it. I just think we need Chris Hilton Jr. back. I would love to get him back before the end of before the schedule, really starts to pick up again. I would love to get him back, but we'll see if that happens or not. But I would love to get him with Kyron Lacey and these guys to really revamp that offense a little more. But we got some games coming up. UCLA at home, Southern Alabama at home. After what happened to UCLA at home on Saturday, I'm not sure if that game is going to have as significance as I thought it would. But again, still need to take care of business. And then you get South Alabama, who doesn't look really good. But again, have to take care of business. So overall, a great weekend of football. I expect another great week here in week 4. Another great slate of games. 3 big ranked games to come. So we'll be talking about those a little later. We'll have those for you on Tuesday or Wednesday, and vice versa with the NFL picks. We'll get those out. But yeah, another great weekend of football. At this rate, we're having some great games. I just hope that once the season gets later into it, on both sides, NFL and college, we're able to get some more great games. That's all I want at the end of the day. Even if my team isn't winning, we aren't doing well, I just want us to have good football games with a chance to win. And that's what we've gotten so far. So hopefully we can keep that up. But that's all for now. I will check in with you guys within the next couple of days. We'll be making our picks for the next week. And I believe there's a boxing event coming up with Ngannou. We'll likely break that event down. I'll let my pops do the expertise on that. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But that's all for now. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'll talk to you a little later.